Charlton Athletic are expected to make public today plans to leave Selhurst Park and return to the borough of Greenwich, which they sadly had to leave 2 years ago. But Steve Tongue says it will be a good while yet before they can go home.
With attendances at Selhurst embarrassingly low, the club and local council were forced to make a public commitment to move back to the Greenwich area as soon as possible. Money, pure and simple, has been the problem. Now it's understood that around £1.3 million has been raised to buy back the valley. The options are either a partial redevelopment with housing like Chelsea and Fulham intend, incorporating a more compact modern ground, or making enough profit from a total redevelopment to fund a brand new stadium near the Blackwall Tunnel. Either way, and however welcome the news, it's a long-term job.
It must be 1936, I suppose. We went up some third, and Charlton, we needed 1 point, and they got the 1 point. I couldn't remember that it was Paul Vale, but you say it was Paul Vale. I know they.
It was when they went up from the second. In fact, it was the following season. They'd already gone up from the third season.
Oh, that's right. When they went up from the second to the first, that's right. They needed, and it was 1-1. And when the final whistle blew, we all jumped over the railings, chanted in front of the stand, "We want Jimmy and we want Sam" and all that. And after a while, all the players came up into the main stand and paraded along. And Jimmy Seed had a microphone rigged up, and he spoke to the crowd. And the first words he said were, "Well, we've done it." I remember that. I can see him now saying that, And all the crowd came round. It's the first time I'd ever been on that pitch. Really? I climbed over the railings.
Because Bartram says in his book that the players were all in the bath before they came out to face the crowd, I think.
That's right.
And the chanting, he noticed a change in the tone of the chanting of the crowd. And suddenly Jimmy C came into the dressing room and said, "Come on, Sam, you've got to get out." And he only had a towel round him.
That's right.
And because Sam was still quite a new boy, he'd been playing with him for a few seasons. He was still a youngster, really.
Yeah.
And he was just overwhelmed. He was thinking to make his first public speech, and his mind went completely blank, and he couldn't even remember it the next day what he'd said. Only what had been reported in the papers, which was something. Thank you very much. He couldn't say anymore. Just overwhelmed with emotion.
That's
completely
right.
overwhelmed.
Yes, I remember 1 or 2 of them had towels round them as if they dragged them out of the bath. But it was fantastic, because it was a hell of a feat. It was the first time it had been done to go from the third to the first in 2 seasons, wasn't it?
Has it been done since?
Yes, I think it's been done since.
Did Wimbledon do it?
It's even been emulated, I think, from the fourth. Hasn't it? I don't know.
Did Wimbledon do that, or did they stop on the way up? Because they came up, they brought up recently, didn't they, a few years ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's been done. But that was the first time, anyway. Fantastic.
Thank Jimmy Oakes, and he played in the same match at Charlton and Port Vale. It come about because it was a drawn match and had a replay, and before the replay was played, Charlton had signed Oakes. So in the same match he played for Port Vale and for Charlton.
That's right. Yeah, well actually I think it was a banding through fog or something.
I know it was replayed, I can't remember which was the...
And of course...
I know it had to be replayed, didn't it? I can remember that.
That's right, yeah.
And then meanwhile they signed it.
And didn't they sign a right back named Iville? Also from Port Vale, there was Jimmy Oakes and Iville, I'm sure. And I've an idea they both came from Port Vale. They played together for a while until Iville dropped out again and Norman Smith came back in.
There's a list. There's a list of all the players Jimmy Seed ever bought in there. So
it'll be in there, I expect.
Might be in there.
Yeah, it'll be in there. She met him at Jack Shree's funeral. Because Shreve lived next door to me, and after the funeral they all came back to the flat above the shop. And my wife went in and helped Mrs. Shreve with the catering arrangements, and she met Sam the first time she ever seen Sam.
Well, I met most of them because for a few games I played for the youth team down there when the youth team first.
Oh, did you?
Started, yeah.
This is not the Charlton Rovers, is it?
Yeah, well, it's developed in Charlton Rovers, yeah, that's right.
Oh.
And a chap named Moss used to run the team. We used to play at Elton. But then after playing, because it was you didn't get a regular game because they were trying out so many players, you see. And in the meanwhile, I'd already volunteered to go into the Navy. That was before, well, just when, actually I volunteered just before the war. There was some militia scheme, wasn't there? Do you remember that? Where you signed on 1938 because I
That's
signed
right,
on
1938. You
on
did
my
6
18th
months,
birthday.
Militiaman, they called it.
Yeah,
didn't
that's
they?
right.
Were you in them?
I think it was called the militia. You signed on. They knew the war was coming. You know,
Yeah.
18 months or so before, and they were almost certain. And they started signing on people, didn't they? And I volunteered for that. But then I didn't get called up right away because I was in a reserved occupation. You see.
What were you working as?
Merryweather's a fire engine, fire escape. So it was an A1 reserve job, and so I had to wait.
Yeah.
But then what I would say is I played a few games down there, and then I got called up, went in the Navy.
Did you ever play at the Valley?
Yes,
You
played
did you?
trial matches, like, you know. We didn't play any actual matches because the
Sort of
reserves combination team played there,
Yeah.
and the youth team played at ground at Eltham. Somewhere near the one they got now, this training ground, that area. It was quite.
So you met quite a few.
Yeah, oh yes. Yeah. I remember once when I went down there and Harold Obvious, because the first team trained on their own, but it was two players that was injured. It was Harold Obvious and Don Welsh. And I was down there, and Harold Obvious said, when the players had finished their training, he said, now stand in the goal, and I'm going to take some corner kicks. He said, but don't stop the ball from going in the goal necessarily. He said, I'm not asking you to do that. He said, just pick it out of the net and kick it back to me. And he took about 12 corners, 10 of them went straight in the net. He was an expert at it. Of course, there was no one in the way, and I wasn't there to stop it. And he
Just
used to
curl
curl
it.
it straight in the goal.
Yes, I've seen him do that.
And all I'd do was take it out the goal and kick it back. Well, I had a fractured wrist at the time because I'd damaged my wrist playing football anyway, and that's why I was down there. I wasn't at work.
Yeah.
And he kicked about 10 out of 12 straight in the goal. I mean, he knew he was very confident that he was going to do it anyway. He said, all I want is someone to kick the ball back to me. I don't want to have to go and run it.
I suppose you met Jimmy Trotter, I suppose.
Yeah, well, first game I played down there was a trial match, and Jimmy Trotter was the referee. And another player who was there, who was helping out that day, was John Oakes. I remember he was John Oakes.
I believe he's an Australian.
Is he?
Because I tell you what, in the Daily Mirror some months ago, there was a live letter from a man in Australia, and it said, a neighbour of mine, a dear old gentleman, well he must be in his 80s, says that he played for Charlton in the winning cup final team, which he didn't. He didn't play in 1947. And he says his name is John Oakes, you see. And I wrote back to the Mirror and I said, I don't know if this chap played in the 1947 cup final team, he certainly isn't John Oakes. Because then I gave him the team. And the Mirror wrote back to me and they said, sent me a letter, and they said that they said that this chap was, they'd sort of checked, and he was in fact John Oakes, and yeah, he made a mistake in the date. He played in the 1946 final, the year before.
Yeah, because they went in wartime cup. They had 3 appearances at Wembley.
This was the first peacetime one, when they lost to Derby, you know.
They lost
When
in
they lost to Derby 4-1.
43, they beat Chelsea in 44,
I saw them
and then
both.
they lost
I was
46
there.
and they won 47.
That's right. That's right. And they both went to extra time. The 46 and
Because the 44 one was the one Charlie Rebel got 2 goals.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. He was.
And one
So
game
it's
ball
in
burst. Turner burst the ball, didn't he? In one
That's
match?
right. Yeah. Yeah. But it burst in both matches actually, both finals.
both
It was
were
a
finals.
strange, very strange thing, yeah. And Bert Turner scored both ends, you know. But funny enough, I can't remember much about the team on the first final. I never got a programme. I was still in the army then, and I got. Have you? I got a Burnley one, but I haven't got a Derby programme.
You have the team in here.
Oh, A. Turner played in the first one, in centre forward, wasn't it?
He came from over the Isle of Dogs. He played for an
Did he?
amateur team, yeah.
Go on. Yeah, he was amateur, that's right.
That's not the Bert Turner, is it? 'Cause he was
No,
amateur.
no, Bert Turner
And this A
played as well.
amateur, he was a fair-haired chap, quite a lively sort of player. He played for some amateur team and Cheltenham. He came to play for Cheltenham as an amateur. And I remember that he lived over the Isle of Dogs because I was in his company a few times.
Yeah, yeah. And then by the time the 47 one came along, Bill Robinson had got on the side. W.
Oh,
Robinson,
Bill
not George.
came
it
from
was
West
W.
Ham, didn't he? Or did he
I
go
don't
to
know
West
where
Ham?
he
He either
was
went.
a northeaster.
Yeah,
He came
that's
from
right.
Sunderland area.
Yeah, I think he either came or went to West Ham from Cheltenham. Yeah, no, he went to West Ham. That's
Yeah.
right.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Bill Turner, very thin on the side.
That's right, yes, yeah. Oh, they don't get the team, that's unfortunate, isn't it? No, they don't.
Were you very local to the ground, to the valley?
Well, yeah, Greenwich, yeah, obviously.
How did you travel? Did you walk down, or did you bus or tram down?
Tram. I remember the old trams. I used to get sick. When my father used to take me down there first, I couldn't quite make it. I said, I'll have to get off, Dad, I feel sick. And I walked to the ground.
The only thing that used to upset me, trams.
Well, I was living at that time when I went down with my father. I was living at Deptford, further out to sea, and getting on the tram from there, I just made it to past Greenwich, and sometimes, you know, to get off, made me sick. Trams.
They had a peculiar motion, didn't
Yeah,
they?
they did.
Yes, that's the chap, Eric Lancelot.
Oh, Eric Lancelot.
This chap knows.
Oh, he's another fair-haired chap, quite a, you know, lively.
Yeah, he never got a regular
No,
test.
no,
what
he
did
wasn't. He was
played near
too
the goal.
sort of fragile player. He wasn't really
Yeah.
strong enough, was he? Good
No.
footballer.
Good dribbler, yeah.
Yeah. They had another chap like that. They used to call him the farmer boy. His name was McCullum. Do you remember him?
McCullum, yes.
McCullum.
Yes, I remember McCullum, yes.
Similar sort of player.
That's
Good
right.
ball player.
Clever ball player, yeah. Riley McCullum, wasn't it, or something?
I think it was.
Yeah, name See so many players over the years, don't you? And you can't. I get mixed up with different periods when I saw them. You know, I get them all mixed up.
Yeah.
Charlie Purves.
Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah.
another one.
That's right. Yeah. Charlie Percy.
Charlie Purves.
Mm.
So many. So many.
Oh, that's strange. Who was it you saying came from Port Vale?
Jimmy Oakes.
Jimmy Oakes. Jimmy Oakes. No, it's not listed down.
No.
Well, they haven't got him. No, they got John Oakes.
John Oakes.
Aldershot.
It wasn't John Oakes. It was Jimmy.
What's the name?
Paul
It's
Levy
not
chap.
listed down. Well, maybe he got a free transfer.
When was this?
33 onwards.
I'll have to look up in there.
Oh yeah. Jazz Oaks. James Oakes.
James, that's
it.
Now, from Port Vale, they paid £2,000 for him, and then he retired afterwards. And then
Have they got Ivor there?
Ivor. Ivor came from Wolverhampton.
Oh, he came from Wolves, and he
Yeah.
came the same
Yeah,
time as
nearby.
Oakes came from.
Yeah,
Port
exactly
Vale.
the same day, 19th of
Oh
January
yeah, that's
33.
right, and they formed the fullback partnership for a while, and then Norman Smith.
Yeah, Norman Smith was a little dark chap, wasn't he? Very dark, black hair, dark
Black hair
skin,
for him. Yeah,
lovely
he took
player.
penalties and he used to slide them. I don't like to see penalties taken like that, but he used to do it all right. But, and I'll tell you another one, they got Jay Smith here, but I always knew him as Trevor Smith. Came from Manfield Park. Remember Trevor Smith, the little blonde inside forward?
Yeah, I do remember him. I can't remember
Where
who
does
it
the J
was.
fit in?
Hey?
Where does the J fit in?
I don't know, they got J Smith here, but it was Trevor Smith. And Stan Pryor,
Oh, yeah.
centre forward.
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if he's still alive. I remember seeing him over.
Where is Hobbs now, you know? I had the pub up there for a while, then he went
had
as a
the Valley
scout
pub, but he
to
went-
Wolverhampton, didn't he?
Where did yeah,
He
Charlie Ripple
said
play
last week, this was not Eastbourne, was it? Or was it Norfolk? I think one of them was down in Eastbourne.
I think it was supposed to be
I like to see him. I say, you remember Harold when you come and I just take the ball.
Yeah, I think it's either Eastbourne. He retired, I suppose. From the
Yeah.
club. It's funny, you look around these lists and it. Frank Harris, never in.
Yeah, Frank Harris.
Jay Wilkinson, Blackpool. Everyone
Yeah.
called him Monty, didn't they?
Monty Wilkinson, that's right, yeah.
£550 he got him for.
Yeah, very fast, very, very fast player.
One of the things with Seed was
Yeah.
that he kept a
Purse
tight
string.
purse string, so he didn't spend much money.
No, he wouldn't.
But
No,
he trusted his intuition, and he did. It was before the club had been in real financial problems, before the Glitstons came in. They were losing money on their transfer. They were paying a lot of money for players, and they weren't using them and selling them at a loss. Seed did it the other way around.
Yeah,
He was buying them dirt cheap.
Mm.
If he sold them, he was making a profit.
Yeah, he was marvellous at that, picking players up, and he'd play them out of position and make a success
Yeah.
of them.
Mm. That's right.
Cyril Pearce, remember him?
Yeah, Silver Pierce. Broke his leg, didn't he?
That's right. He broke his leg, yes.
Yeah, I remember.
And then they paid £2,250 for him from Swansea. And he went back to Swansea from
Oh,
400.
did he? Yeah.
Because of it.
Good goal scorer.
Yardley.
Oh,
centre
yes.
forward.
Yeah, Yardley.
Got him from Luke.
They
Yeah,
came
didn't
after Ashley and
that's what was
like
happening,
that, Dar Ashley.
That's
That's what was happening before Seed. So they were spending a lot of money and then losing money when they got rid of them.
Ah, yes.
Whereas afterwards, when you look at this list of what he spent, and what he was getting when he was selling them,
Yeah.
he was making
He's making a profit. Yeah, he was marvellous.
I've got the book written by Jimmy Seed.
I read that. It's also
You read that one,
I read
yeah.
that yesterday.
Oh,
Did you? Yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah. So it's very interesting, but it's very financial orientated, isn't it?
Yeah,
He's,
that's right.
can't do
Especially
as
with
manager,
it.
so that's what he was dealing with. But that Bartram one is very good.
Is it? No, I haven't
Because
I'll have a look at that one.
a lot of the monkeying about that went on between the players. And did he know that Sailor Brown was known as Chimpy?
He's
He was known as Chimpy to the players.
was
at
he?
the start.
Yeah, he was that sort of player. I can imagine that.
Well, it's because he had, as well as the way he walked,
He had long
he had
arms.
long
and a
arms,
sort of
just
rolling
hung
gait.
loosely by his
He used to
sides.
turn up for
Shoulders.
matches on a bike. I can remember that. He used to cycle to the matches. Sailor Brown, yeah.
What, down to the valley?
Yeah. Yeah. Turn up on his bike and put his bike.
Unfortunately, someone swiped some of the photographs on that.
Oh, then. Yeah, yeah.
Still a few left.
Very good goalkeeper, Peter Robertson. They got him from Dundee for 100 quid, it says it. But he was a smashing goalkeeper, Peter Robertson. I remember him. I was only 10 at the time, but I remember him.
A Dutch goalkeeper. Name began with
Oh,
a K.
Keizer.
That's right.
Keizer or Keizer, didn't they? He was good, wasn't he? I remember Leslie Nash. 1929. George Robinson. Yeah, he became went on the training staff after he backed up
That's right.
George
Yeah,
Robinson.
assistant manager.
Yeah, he was a great.
There's a very interesting chap. It's a pity he doesn't come here. In fact, if I could contact him, he knows quite a lot about the history of Charlton. I saw him when they opened the training ground over at Elton.
Yeah.
And George Robinson was a great friend of his, and quite a lot of the players. He used to keep the pub at Greenwich, which is now the not the Cutty Staff,
Charlton?
No, at Greenwich.
Greenwich.
And he was quite friendly with a lot of the players. He was a very old supporter of Charlton. He can remember right back, well, the same as what you can,
Yeah.
much further back than I can. And we were looking. Have you been to the training ground?
No, I haven't been. No.
It's quite interesting because when you go in through the corridor, they've got all old photographs going back from the days when they was in the Kent League and before they went into the. And I was with this chap, and he could remember most of them, but some of them he couldn't remember. It was going way back before they was in the Football League, and he pointed out a lot of the old players to them. And I do know that, yeah, it's worth looking
Can
at.
you go in any
Yes.
time?
Well, I go over there and watch. I mean, perhaps I don't go to Selhurst Park, but I go to the training ground and watch youth team play.
They've got
I went
lovely
over
facilities
there
up there. Training ground. Yeah.
last Saturday, I was over there. They played Cambridge and drew 1 each. All the first team players was over there last Saturday, and I couldn't make out why. Every one of them. And then a coach turned up, and Lawrence.
To take over.
Lawrence was there. So they must have left just before the end of the match, and the coach was still there. So they must have gone from the training ground at Elton direct to Highbury. Because they were all had their name blue and their badge on, and all was dressed exactly the same.
Yeah.
And they turned up in their own cars,
And then
the coach, they went over by coach. So they must have gone from there to Highbury and then gone back to the training ground. Obviously, they picked their cars up. I think he had to give them a good talking to, but obviously it didn't work.
4-0.
Yeah.
They weren't worthy opposition at all on Saturday. I mean, after their performance the week before.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
right.
shame. Yeah, they can't seem to win.
But Arsenal seem to be on very high pitch. I mean, the way they cut through that Everton defence, the game I watched on telly,
Yeah.
they really tore them apart. Well, they done the same to Charlton, you see.
Yeah. Do you think Charlton are going to escape this season? I don't know.
Well, they're talking about now coming back to the Valley, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, not this season, the season after. It won't be this season.
Oh,
Next
no.
season will be the one after.
Yeah,
They're not going to stop there, according to reporting.
Well, it was I had it on the radio this morning.
They're only going back to Starr. He was in the army before the war, and he got legs shot up. During the war, came out about 1917, emptied out, and they found him a job in the Woolwich Arsenal. Well, the Woolwich Arsenal then had a good football team, which is the Arsenal, the Gunners. You see, so no, he wasn't interested in the team where he worked, which was the Gunners, the Arsenal. They played at Woolwich, their ground, and he was interested in this little club that was coming along. They used to meet in a fish shop down at Charlton. That's how he said they got the name of the Haddocks.
It's one of the stories how
Yeah,
they got
and that's what he told me, but there's different versions of
I've
it.
heard another one about being short for athletic, attic, short for athletic.
Yeah.
And it
But he
gradually
remembers-
became addict. But,
I've heard another one that they were trying to raise funds to build, to build a ground to get the facilities better, changing rooms and what have you. They've got local traders to pledge some money. So a couple of publicans did, a newsagent confectioner did, and a local fish shop.
That's right. That's
Promised
it
the
was a
players
fish
a
shop.
free haddock and chips.
A
dinner,
fish shop was
supper.
connected, definitely
Fish shop,
connected with it.
yeah, offered them free haddock and chips supper
what on match days?
when they won a match.
Oh, when they won a match, only when they won.
And he wasn't interested in this established team, which was the Arsenal team. He was interested in this club that was coming along, and that's how he started off with them. And they went into the league. They had a ground at Mansfield Park.
Town Park.
No, they had a ground first of all
Is it Angus-Dean Lane?
at Mansfield Park at Catford. And then they moved to which is now the Catford Greyhound Stadium. They played there. And then they went on from another ground and eventually to the Valley.
Yeah,
they moved away from the valley.
They moved away once,
to one
didn't they?
called the Mount.
Yeah, which was.
Oh, that is the Mount.
Yeah,
Mansfield
that
Park.
was in,
They
that,
must
that
have
It must
was
have been it.
that was 1924 because I was reading about
Yeah,
that
Was
this
it?
week.
my dad telling me
And
they moved over.
the reason
It's in there.
the reason they did it.
Oh, it's in the pocket.
The reason they did it was because they were losing so much money and they were in dire financial straits. They always are.
Yeah, that's right.
And the directors thought it'd be a good idea to move to Catton. It's a very populous area.
That's
And
right.
they'll get bigger crowds down there. So they, having spent £14,000 on the valley, and they were then in huge debts. The builders were asking for their money and they couldn't pay them. So they moved to Catton, spent 15,000 over there, levelling a sloping pitch and everything. And after a season there, they moved back to the valley because their gates were even smaller.
My dad told me when they moved away. He remembers that they moved away for a bit and then came back. But he said they played on a pitch at Pound Park. Well, I don't know where Pound Park. There's a Pound Park road.
I've got it in here.
Yeah, I remember him telling me that.
No, this is.
Paper haddock stuck on a pole, you know. Yeah. So I suppose that
Oh, yeah,
that
yes.
could well be. This is most interesting, isn't it? Trained by Joe Merriweather. Was it anything to do with the farm? With your Merriweather?
No, well, no, going back that far. I don't know.
Don't you know it's possible? Where's the lads of the village pub? Is that still there?
Yeah, that's the village. The lads of the village, yeah. That's down west. Is it West Street or
Westmore?
Westmore, one end?
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Had to leave Pound Park in 1912. Now getting crowds of 4,000 to 5,000 then, they were, Pound Park.
As many as they're getting now.
Yeah, more in fact.
Unbelievable.
And the May 1913 they got an enclosed ground in Angerstein Lane, now Horn Lane. They played down that way before, haven't they? Hugely occupied and well maintained by now defunct Charlton Albion.
And that became a fuel dump, a petrol dump during the war. So they lost.
Oh yeah, oh the First World War was it? Or
Yeah.
March 1915, too difficult to
Raise a team.
raise a
It's
team.
my terrible
30
writing.
joined up, 3 died, 7 severely wounded. Club suspended
Further activity.
further activity.
It's my scrawl. That's right. So
I thought it was
quickly.
Arthur somebody. Club suspended. Played away. 1918-19. Played away.
Played many charity and friendly games.
Angerstein Lane no longer available. Oh yes, I see it was Petrol. Derelict Hollow, known locally as the Swamps, at rear of Floyd Road, was suggested. 1919, yeah. Hollow formed by extensive chalk and sand excavations. One side and one end flanked by huge cliffs. I remember the
I used
cliffs.
to climb up and down there
Did
before
you?
they built the, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing the kids
before
sliding
they
up and
put
down
the,
there.
Before they steps in, before they concrete
that's right,
it.
doubled the banking, didn't they?
Yeah, I used to run up and down there before the game started.
Yeah.
Slide down. There was nothing over that side other than these big,
That's
enormous
right, big
cliffs.
cliffs, that's right. Yeah,
Sand cliffs.
yeah
sand.
sand, that's right. Remember seeing the kids lying
Hello there.
down
Slide down.
Glad to see you.
Nice to see you. We're a little bit thin on the ground.
Did you go back to?
Back to South Africa, I should think. Eileen.
Did he?
I think
Didn't
so.
he have a job here on the, I don't know, in the school at one time, you know, sort of locally? I'm sure.
He might have done when he was
Australian.
when he was here, but I think when he was
I'm forgetting now, such a long way.
yes, your mind.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Welcome to the club.
What's your name?
Waddell, I said.
What's your first name?
Eric. Eric Waddell.
This is Archie. Huh?
Harry.
Harry.
And
I'm Andy.
Andy, right. No.
How far back do you go? When did you first start going to see them?
I remember being lifted over the heads of the crowd when I was little, and all my family used to go, except for my mother. She was the only one. She used to stop home, get the tea ready for us by the time we got back. You know,
Yeah.
I lived in Eastcombe Avenue in those days.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Well, I live in Victoria Way.
Did you?
I lived in Wingfield Road as a youngster.
What number Winthrop Road?
The little flats. 41. The two little flats on the right-hand side going from Eastcombe Avenue. Not far down.
No, well, my reason for asking, my eldest brother, Reg, married a girl who used to live in Winthrop Road, number 50, name of Cows. Cows, Olive Cows.
50, would that be at the top end, would it?
Well, it's past Santoff. It's
Past Santoff.
opposite Charlton Central, really, in Woolwich, you know. Where
Oh,
Charlton
yes,
Central-
yes, I know, on the top. Yes, I know what you mean. No, well, of course, 41
Actually, it was
is on the lower part.
probably past Bramshot, hadn't you? But past Bramshot as well.
Yeah, yes, the top part, yes. Well, 41 is on the lower part. I lived there for years. I was brought up there.
Well, I was born in that area. I'm probably born in one of the Greenwich hospitals.
Did you go to Trustee School?
Yes, oh yes.
Oh, so did I.
Did you indeed?
What's your name?
Waddell. Eric Waddell. And there was six. Well, I had 6 brothers and 1 sister. Yes. Oh yes. Reg was the oldest one, and there was Arthur, Hick, Ron, Bert, and George, and myself.
Yeah.
And I'm the last one of the lot. They're all gone.
Are you?
Yeah. Yes, I'm the only one left out of the original family.
Yeah.
And when did you start going to the valley? So it's got
Oh,
how
crumbs,
what year was that been?
Well, let's see. 20 I was born, so take it on from there, from about, I left school in 1934.
Yes.
But I'd been going, prior to that as a youngster, yes, I was probably about 7 or 8 years old when I first went round.
About the same period as I was.
Yeah.
You have many happy memories of the Happy
Oh,
Valley Day.
it's nice news in the paper though, just...
Oh yeah. So we're just looking at it.
Yeah.
Just there. They might be back there season after next.
Very nice, yeah.
Be great, wouldn't it?
I'm still around to see it.
Yeah, I should start going. You don't go to Southwest, do you?
I've been twice.
I've been 3
no,
times.
It's
It's just
strange,
been
but none of
so
the,
much.
hardly any of the older.
I went over there to see them beat West Ham a couple of seasons ago.
Oh, yeah.
Because my boys were all West Ham supporters.
Oh, thank
Oh,
God.
God,
Oh,
yeah.
dear.
Yeah, I couldn't convert them, I'm afraid. They're all West Ham supporters. Mind you, I think they've still got a soft spot for Charlton anyway, but and they play Sunday football themselves anyway. Yes, they're in the London Kent Border League. Plays on Sundays mostly. But as soon as they moved, I went to the last one down the valley, you know, went to that house. And
Yeah, I saw
but
that.
as soon as they moved, I thought, I see.
I couldn't believe it because it comes so sudden, didn't it? One
Well,
week over the
yeah.
other, and it
I
just
don't think there was
come
any
out of
need
the
for
blue.
them to go in the
No.
first place.
No, because they've gained nothing, have they?
No.
I mean, if they'd remained at the Valley and gone into the first division, they would have had an average gate of about 15,000.
Of course, yeah.
Now, they lost all that.
Even if
and
they
now
were-
they've got to pay all the extra money to come back again at a
Oh.
time when they're likely to go down back in the second division.
Yes, so it looks like they're going to come back down there in the second division,
Well,
I think.
I mean,
you
they're
know.
hoping not, but
Well, they've got to work hard to
things are
keep
against
up
them,
there
aren't
this
they?
season.
Yes, it's going to be a bit...
They've got to win this.
Yeah.
Got to win the
Yeah,
derby, haven't they?
Yeah, that's right. And Derby got a point this week at Tottenham, didn't they? I mean, another point.
Mind you, stranger things have happened. I mean,
Yes, it's been done before. I remember one period when Millwall had to win the last 16 matches or something. They've done it. Unbelievable. They said nothing down, finished, and went on and on and on and won.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Or they didn't have to lose, did they? They had 16 matches. I think it's-
One of my brothers, in fact, died on the terraces in Charlton.
Did he?
Yes,
Did
Columbus
he?
died. And that particular week I wasn't there, funnily enough.
Oh, dear.
What was it, an exciting match?
1956.
Not the Huddersfield match.
February 1956. Oh no, not the Huddersfield match.
No,
Not the
no, no,
7-6.
I remember
I
that.
think we all wanted it.
God, yeah, it's a game you never forget.
Never forget that.
Never wanted some oxygen after that. Though.
Yeah, nearly killed my father.
Mm.
He came down with me, you know, he hadn't been for months and months and months because he wasn't very well. Really patted in, and I talked him into going down that day, and he come down with me, and we were standing, you know, by the goal where we were stood at the end of the match. He was so exhausted he couldn't move, you know. I had to sit him down and wait a bit, you know, before he came home, and he never went again after that. He said, I've never seen a match like that before.
Oh, that was fantastic, really was.
Johnny Summers, wasn't he?
Johnny
Summers,
yeah.
yes.
Marvellous goals, didn't he?
What happened to him? He
Three or
died.
four goals.
He died of cancer.
Yeah,
he died of
Young,
cancer.
didn't he?
Mm.
Yeah, tragic really. But at that day, every time he got the ball and every time he shot, it seemed to go in.
That's right.
Couldn't
That's
miss,
why they
you know.
need something like that now when they hit
Yeah,
those in.
what do we do now?
Can't get them in there, can they?
Doesn't seem to be the same as the old team, does it?
No,
There's nothing
no,
like the
it
old
was-
Sammy Marshall and all that. Oh.
Well, they had players, didn't they? They were, I mean, Benson and Archie and
John Welsh.
John Welsh and
Chris Duffy,
stuff.
Charlie Vaughan. Go
Yeah.
on and on, can't it?
Welsh went as manager of Liverpool, didn't he, for a while?
That's
Do you
right, he
remember
did.
that?
Yes, he was manager of
Really
Liverpool.
big fan, yeah.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah.
Is he still
He
looking
only
there?
had a couple of seasons.
He's still, he's living in the
Yeah,
Midlands
he's still
somewhere.
around.
Is he?
Yeah,
Manchester, wasn't it Manchester?
just
or
somewhere outside Manchester.
Somewhere outside Manchester.
He must be
Came
turned
to-
21
I think
now.
he originated from Manchester.
Must be turned 21
Oh,
now. I
right,
think.
yes, he must be getting on.
Really just.
I tried to figure out last week how many of the cup winning team are still alive, and apparently I thought Duffy was still alive, but he
No, I
said
think I read some.
killed in a
sometime.
bomb because he lived in Ireland. He kept
Yes.
Was that right? Did you read about that?
No, I didn't actually read. I
Ah.
read somewhere that he died, but didn't accept just a
That's what
little
he
tiny
said.
bit, you know.
Yeah, I never saw it. He
Yeah,
said he was
I
killed
can't
in a bombing in Ireland or something. But I mean, I know, Welsh is still alive, as you say. Don't know about Johnson. I think Charlie said Johnson was still alive.
I think he did, yeah. I can't
And
remember
Phipps is still alive.
Phipps.
I don't know about Bill Robinson or Dawson. Tommy Dawson is still alive.
I see we've got an ex-Charlton player that's on the what's that new series that's on the telly? Fire.
Oh, the
London's
Fire,
Burning.
London's Burning.
Who's in that then?
Well, one of the chaps who was in that, he played briefly for Charlton. I can't think of his name now.
Well, it must be amongst one of these. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I read him.
I haven't seen the programme actually.
No, I've only seen briefly. I mean, we get so many people coming in and out. You know, I might as well not bother about television. I'll switch to everything else. But I did read in the paper before the first show of that. And,
So it must have been one of the younger, because I mean, there's no one really old to be in the fire brigade. It must be a fairly recent player.
yes, oh, it's
Recent years.
what's his name?
Well, he played in the first
He's
team.
been a bit of a boxer as well at this point.
One who's a boxer who played for Charlton is Lazarus.
No,
Was it Lazarus? There's some brothers, isn't
Yeah,
there?
Lazarus.
Lazarus.
He played for Charlton.
He played for Charlton. And he went to Hampton West Stand, didn't he? Well, an amateur team. West Stand. I can't think of his Christian name. There was about three brothers. They were all boxers. Even this one was a boxer. This Lazarus is the son of the old
I can't honestly remember.
boxing. That's the only connection I can think of the boxer.
Lawson, no, I can't really swear to it, but I know it was
Well,
in
you
the
must
paper.
have. You've probably come across his name in one of these books, and you don't remember.
Yeah, we've got a couple of. We've read Sam Bartram's autobiography. Got that over there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Sam
Oh,
Bartram.
see, when they went to Catford, they had less than
But
1,000
this would be
per
much
game.
too early.
Yeah.
this
God,
game.
I wonder they came down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for this
Yeah.
young chap.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
he's only comparatively young
Disaster.
Well,
there.
it must be,
Re-election,
otherwise he wouldn't be in the connected
two seasons
with the
being in the
film
making.
in the picture.
Because Ryan resigned you to Alex on farmer.
No, all my family we used to congregate right on the centre line, about halfway up that banking opposite the
On the open bank.
stand, you know, the one they condemned. Well, there were so many of us, I think we must have contributed to the wear and tear of it.
Sagging underneath.
Sagging there, right on the centre line, about halfway up there.
That must have been incredible, some of those big crowds you were getting down there though.
Crikey, you put your hand in your pocket and you couldn't get it out till you got outside.
Could almost I can remember being lifted almost along up Floyd Road after
75.
75.
something like that.
Yeah, stood right down behind the goal. Got there early. Obviously, you just couldn't move, could you?
No, it's impossible.
Did you used to walk down to the ground?
Well, yes, from Eastcombe Avenue,
Yeah,
it's just a
just a-
little walk.
Yeah, well, I'd say I live next to the shop, and opposite Fosdene School, you know, Victoria Way.
What, Merley's?
Yeah, it was
Oh,
Merley's.
Harry Merley.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
his
and they
wife-
were still keep in touch with Harry Merley, yes, and Mrs.
I don't know
Merley.
if he's still alive.
Oh yes, and Mrs. Merley's still alive too.
Is she?
She's 90-something. They live in Abbey Wood now, but we still keep in
Well, I
touch.
live at Abbey Wood.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. On the Abbey Wood estate, is she? Or
Boston Lane.
Boston Lane.
Boston Lane they live, yeah. They moved when they packed the shop up. Boston Lane.
It must be there.
And Jack Shreve took that shop over, you know, when he retired from football. He
What,
was
on the
my
corner of
neighbour
Eastcombe Avenue?
on the corner. He took that shop over for a long while, yeah. And then when he died, his wife carried it on.
I worked with Harry in Johnson Phillips.
Oh, did you? Oh, well,
He was
Harry's...
on-
Yeah, I suppose he's in, I don't know how old Harry is now. 40s. Must be 40s or 50s.
You worked on Johnson Phillips. I worked Johnson Phillips for 20 years.
Did you? Well, you know on the rubber cable side?
Yeah, my wife's just
I
retired.
know you, mate.
Yeah, there's a chap called Lind, who was an inspector down there.
It just shows
Harry
what
Lind.
connections there are.
I worked with him.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, and in the lead cable shop that the lead presses,
Yeah.
because it was mostly rubber cable and extrusion.
Now, I never realised that.
And they had a couple of lead presses there right
Well,
on
that's
the
just
side of Fosdene
skipping
Road, more or less,
notes.
wasn't it?
I just thought it'd be nice.
Well, I was
if
on
we
the
do get
inspection
something
there.
Yeah.
printed, just
Oh,
have
the
some
wall.
kind of introduction, some
You
sort of
know, 'cause,
background
Yeah.
to how they
I
got
went
there,
into,
right.
leading up to their glory
I was at
days.
Siemens
Yeah.
up until the war,
Yeah.
and then I went back there till 1950. If I'd have hung on till 1952, I'd have been made redundant like the rest of them were, but I just couldn't settle. And I thought, oh no, I think I'll go round to something else, you know. I took an insurance agent job up for about 6 months, and
Did you?
thought, downright broke me completely, that did. I never saw before in my life because I was on that insurance job.
Yeah, well, I started there when I came out of the Navy, actually. Well, not the first job.
I wrote a bigger section on the
I
wartime.
started there in
Later on.
1947.
Yeah.
And I got made redundant in 1968 when we moved down to New Cross, Elizabeth Works, down the old Eastby.
Oh,
They
yes,
moved
yes.
us down there, and there we got made redundant.
Mm.
I worked in the sheet metal
Take
shop.
cover.
Did you? Small world, isn't it? Yeah, I was there for. I was only there for 3 years actually. What happened was the unions decided to investigate all the blokes with white coats walking about, and they said they
Midget car.
they found that there was too many white coats.
I
not enough,
remember it being.
you know,
That's when
so
Lance
they
Turner
decided
came
to
down.
cut. I can't remember.
100 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour.
So,
Yeah, they damaged all the corners of that place.
we
didn't they?
eventually got made redundant from there. You
When
know,
the
and I just
season
got over the
opened,
shock of being
after
redundant.
that,
Siemens,
each
and got
corner it had,
Johnson and Phillips.
the turf, I don't know, hadn't been laid properly, it hadn't taken, and it was all rough.
I enjoyed
You know,
it, yeah, while I was
tucked
there.
easily, all the four corners of the ground, yeah, quite a slice where they got these midget cars going round.
Oh, yes, that's right. It started the old car racing.
That's right, I never saw it, but I remember it.
No, I remember that. Before they actually came into
It's a
football.
little very early history.
When they played at various grounds, Catford and Pound Lane.
Not written in old English, though.
Hmm?
So it's not written in old English.
It's written in illegible English, my handwriting. It was just because I didn't have long with this book that I got all this from, so I was scribbling away as fast as I could. So what would have been a typical match day for you then when you were going down to the valley? Was there a sort of routine that you followed?
Well, it was just every Saturday, you know. I mean, we used to go down there every Saturday.
I used to go to the reserve matches and everything.
Yes, yeah. I won't say I went to every reserve
When I was a
match.
youngster, this is before the war.
And I didn't travel very far with Cholton, unfortunately. I didn't go to many of the away matches.
No. Do you remember when
Staunch home supporter, no doubt about it.
in the 30s when they had hired these double-decker buses, they used to go from the supporters club up Church Lane, the Warren,
Yeah.
and the local London away matches, they used to run these double-decker buses.
Yeah,
Used to go on there.
Mm. Well, my uncle used to live at Ealing, and he was a staunch Fulham supporter.
Yeah.
So every time we beat Fulham, or every time they beat us, you know, there'd be a little sort of private war going on. But I think Fulham was about, next to Cholton, I think Fulham was the ground that I visited sort of most, you know.
Yeah.
I used to go there every Fulham match, and they used to come down to us every Cholton Fulham match, you know.
Yeah.
Good old days.
What did you think about the facilities of the valley?
Toilet-wise, it wasn't too.
No.
It never has been.
Never has been, has it?
No.
No. I don't think they all...
Mind you, I never got to the toilet sometimes. You the crowds that we had there.
Just the old ashes down, didn't know proper drainage and corrugated.
Yeah. So like World War III going on in those toilets. No, that's about the only criticism I had, really. I mean, when they opened Sam Bartram Gate up the top corner there, they had a little cafe thing, didn't they? A little snack bar up there as well at one time. I seem to remember.
Yeah, that's right.
But there was toilets up the back there too. That was really bad.
Because a lot of people sort of wonder where all the money went,
Yeah,
all that glorious time, and why the ground wasn't improved when they had every opportunity to improve that ground.
Where did that all go to? Because
Yeah.
he wasn't signing players, he wasn't spending money on players, and, not to that extent.
No, they're spending hardly anything, peanuts
Where
compared
did-
to
where
other
did it all
clubs.
go?
What is the position
I
now
mean,
anyway?
78,000 at one match, they don't get 70,000 in a season.
No.
I mean, the lowest was over at Crystal Palace there, 800 and something, wasn't it?
Oh, God.
Something like that.
Something below.
Well, in '38, when they had that record attendance at the Valley for Aston Villa, 'cause that went to 2 replays as well,
Yeah.
and over 200,000 people watched those 3 matches.
It's
200.
amazing.
Over 200,000.
Yeah, must have been. Because that was when Obvious broke his leg, wasn't it? One of the replays at Arsenal.
That's the second replay.
Yeah. It was a bad day, wasn't it, when he broke his leg?
Well, they were level until nearly the end, weren't they? They just fell to pieces. Well, they lost players, a couple of players got badly injured, didn't they? They were hampered.
Open the cup.
Yeah, Lewis's.
Yeah, Lewis.
Got a photo? Do you want to see a photograph of that?
Yeah. The Arsenal, that was in a local.
Oh yes, I remember. Well, I should have saved mine.
Did you see that? Did you?
Oh,
Printed.
actually, this took my eye. This Lewis's business more than.
Oh, yes.
Sad to
Yeah.
say, I did notice that at the time.
Yeah, he's still going strong, old Charlie Lewis. He's 90 odd.
Yes, they've moved there.
He could tell us some towels.
He's just retired, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he's not actually retired. Well, he's moved his booking office from top
Yeah.
Blackwall Lane to
One of the shops
opposite
along
what used to
in,
be the motor repair, but opposite what used to be Wars, which is closed up.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he moved along there because he said that they don't need all that big area just for a booking office. All they need is
No, really.
just a desk.
That little day nursery, there's the back of there, the kiddies' day nursery. My oldest boy went there when we used to live in Greenwich.
Oh, yeah.
And when I first got married, we were married at Bexley, and then we moved down to Greenwich because I didn't have a place of my own and very little money anyway. So we got on the council list, you know, and they found us a flat in Eastney Street at Greenwich, by the I thought, that's what I can't do, because it was shocking when we first moved in, but I had 6 very good years there. Thoroughly enjoyed it. From Eastcombe Avenue to Eastleigh Street. Well, when people got bombed out from Eastcombe, finished it, they were living up at Marley Avenue at Bexley, up Leicester's Avenue Way, you know. And that's where I met my wife when I came home, because I was a prisoner of war in Germany for 5 years.
Oh, really?
Oh, were you?
Yeah. I was in the artillery at Woolwich.
Oh, I was in the artillery.
140 field regiment I was in.
Oh, 77 medium regiment I finished up in.
I'm still looking for 140 field regiment survivors. I've had a few, but I'm in the London branch of the Prisoner of War Association.
Oh, yes.
Where
yes.
were you captured?
At, near Dunkirk actually, wasn't all that far from Dunkirk.
That was before Dunkirk, you were out there early.
Well, we were sort of keeping them busy inland while the boats were getting off the beaches.
Oh,
you see.
yeah.
And at the time we
Well,
were thinking about getting on the beaches, which I think, to be honest, if I'd have got there, I wouldn't be here to tell the tale, because so many people got killed on the beaches and getting in the boats and one another, that we were better off inside, further inland. And it was a place called Cassell. It's Cassell Hills or something. It's quite a hilly district, and this town right up on top of the hills. Some of the chaps have been back there since, and it's just the same as Norton.
Were you in the Red Army?
I joined just before, in early 39, I joined the Territorials at Woolwich.
Oh, you were in the Terriers, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
And of course, as soon as the war was declared, we were
First one to go.
You were
regulars
off.
straight
Yeah,
away,
that's
we were
right,
sort of classed as regular soldiers then. So I served 7 years, 37 years and a month.
Yeah.
But 5 of that was with the German army.
Yeah, that's a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, as guest of the Gestapo, I used to do.
I missed all. I wasn't called up till September 1940. You know.
There was an ACAT place at Victoria Road, at the top of Victoria Road.
Oh yes, yes, it's still there.
It is.
Parachute regiment.
Yeah. Oh, parachute. That's right. It's for artillery.
My brother-in-law, he's now living in Australia, but he joined there when it was an ACAT. He finished up in the remit. He was a staff sergeant, radar instructor in the remit.
Oh
Yeah, so quite a few blokes, from locally, and
yeah.
I met one chap at the meeting when we went up to Union Jack Club, because that's where the meetings are.
Oh yes.
We have 6 meetings a year, and sort of every 2 months we go up there. The AGM's the next one in April. And met one of the blokes who was in my regiment. Because funny enough, I went over to the last concert for the prisoners of war over at Fairfield Halls at Croydon. Last reunion we had over there, which was quite good. But that was the first one, funnily enough, that I'd been to. And I walked in there expecting to see a load of blokes I did. You walk in there, it's full of old men.
Yeah, you don't realise,
You
right?
don't realise that.
It's all this lot.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't realise.
I suppose they thought just the
Don't
same about me,
That's right.
I don't know this old, what's it? I wasn't tickled that. I'm alright,
Yeah.
I'm trying to the wife. It was going to be shopping.
The wife used to go down with you to the matches, is she? Was she a fan as well?
Well, shortly after we, yes, she went just before we got married, and that was in 1947. She went for a few matches down there, but she got a bit bored. She wasn't exactly a football player, but apart from that, had she known the good days when we used to go down there, when there was no swearing and no fights, she wouldn't have minded, but she went down there a couple of times, and things weren't too clever, she thought, it's not for me, I'm not.
Yeah.
Do you remember Chelsea evening match, but we beat them, what was it, 4-0? 4-2. 4-2. No, we did 4-0.
I might have been 4-0, I can remember the match.
And there was loads of damage. They set
Yeah,
fire
they set
to
fire to the Bailey's club round the back, didn't they? To the supporters club.
the supporters club.
Hadn't been opened all that. And I was
Smashed all the windows.
Smashed.
Oh, God, it was terrible. Well, I stood there with my youngster. He would be, what, he's 66. We call him World Cup Willie because every time we used to go and see the wife, she was in hospital with him.
Yeah.
World Cup was on, I say, cut the visit short to the hospital, we can get back on to go.
Yeah, it was 4-0 that match now.
It was 4-0, yeah. So from 66 to, he wasn't, I can't remember how old he was. He wasn't all that old. You know, I took him round there with me and I said, well, we stay where we are, we don't move. You could see you could feel the other supporters coming in from the one end down to this end, you know. Stay where we are until it gets a bit clear, then we'll make a move. There was fires and everything going on. It frightened me, you know, it frightened a little.
No, it's frightening if you look
Frightened
around
me.
and you get that.
It's senseless, isn't it? Absolutely senseless. What about, I mean, compare it to the atmosphere in the 30s and what was it like then? What was that your recollection?
It was enjoyable. You could go around there and thoroughly enjoy yourself. The attitude, I think, then compares with the attitude of the American supporters as a family outing. They go to these baseball games and all that. There's never any trouble there. By all accounts. I mean, I've not seen one
I mean,
in America, but I've got
you always
friends
used to stay in the same place. You knew all the people who was around,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Every week after week.
As a matter of fact, if we were late getting there,
Victoria,
there was a
that
sort of a
is
hole
like
in the
Tory.
crowd. That's all that's how it was.
Sounds
you know.
like Tory.
But,
Sometimes it's difficult on the tape. The tape was
Yeah,
quiet.
Tory way. Victoria way.
There's a few
Tory
for
way.
Marnie. I was
Tory
spelling
way.
wrong in there as well. It should have been F-I-L.
Oh, yeah.
Spelling with a Y. Wrist was spelling with a W, but it should be.
he still a
Oh, yeah,
man.
that's right.
I think Charlie Rebel mentioned, didn't he, last week?
Frank Wrist.
For Marnie. No,
Oh,
he
for
said
Marnie.
for Marnie.
Yeah, I think for Marnie still. I don't know whether he's. He went to America.
He managed a
didn't he?
team out in America, didn't
That's
he?
right.
Managed.
Perhaps he's still doing that. I don't know.
And I think he came back. No, he came
Really
back.
caught on as well as...
Died of death, didn't it, a few years ago? The league more or less closed down. It was in the 70s, people like Bobby Moore and Pele and all these people were going out as a player.
Yeah, and what's his name? Hill lost a lot of money out there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Promoted a team and lost thousands.
Yeah, it never really called on properly.
Well, I'm going to have to cut it short today.
You are?
but,
Okay, we'll do try and
are
come
you
back
coming?
next week.
You
Yeah, we're
coming?
here every week.
Here is
But the
further
next...
It was either Kinsey's or Peacock's testimonial when he asked for this team to be at this competition. And for the centre forward, I nominated Eddie Fermani, who I thought was the best player over that period.
Yeah.
But he didn't agree. He said that he wrote about it in the programme after the competition. He said that, now I can't think of it, no doubt you remember the chap, a very tall, thin chap who was very good in the air, played centre forward. And Kinsey said he was, or Kinsey or Peacock said he was the better player than Fermani.
Evans, do you mean John
No,
Evans?
not John Evans. Very, very slim. He came from, just going, Norfolk team, Norwich. His name must be very, very slim, very good in the air.
I think you'll see it. Before my time, but he used to keep wasn't it Burton used to keep a shop in Church Lane one time.
It came down from towards the end of his career. Couldn't work out where it came from because his voice was very slurred.
Dimmock.
Dimmock.
Jimmy
Oh.
Dimmock.
Tottenham.
Yeah,
Dimmock.
yeah, way back he played with Seed, didn't
Yeah,
he, Jimmy
that's
Dimmock?
right.
Played with Jimmy Seed,
Yeah.
D-I-M-M-O-C-K.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No. Yes, I remember Goodman
My father's, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
my father mentioned players
yeah.
like Goodman.
He was a full-back converted into a centre forward, yeah. Big bloke.
Going up,
Yeah.
very easy.
Engineer.
No, they never had hardly any goals scored against them, and they
No.
used to, many games they won 1-0.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in here about that.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
know.
in
Yeah,
my.
mentioned it.
Yeah, it's in there. 1-0.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's dark, isn't it?
Quite.
Rain.
Oh, the people from Thameside returned it. So time consuming.
In fact, we didn't, he was ill, we didn't believe he was ill. The only time we believed that he was really ill was when he didn't go to the football match, and shortly after he died. And we took him into hospital and he died. So I mean, he'd never missed a match with Charlton, not from right in the early days. That's how I've come. I've been the eldest son, and as soon as I was when I first started going to school, I suppose, 5-year-old, he said, come, we're going down to football. That's right. I took him down.
So he used to lift me over the turnstile.
Yeah.
Lift me over.
And he used to do the odd jobs down there, as I told you, like going around with the ball for the
Oh, yes.
team changes and this sort of thing. He was
Well,
really
your
involved.
father would parade around with the time
Yeah.
scores.
Yeah. They had no loudspeaker system, you see.
No way of communicating.
And the only way they could communicate with spectators was to have a big blackboard, to put it over the shoulder, walk all the way round, and it said team changes, so and so and so and so. And then you go around the game, because as you went into the ground, they sold ball tickets for a penny, raffled the ball. The ball they played with was raffled every week.
That's it.
You see.
I never won it.
And no, a friend of mine won that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Someone did win it then.
Oh yeah, it was genuinely nothing.
And
Yeah, I think
then during half time, he used to go around the game with the ball with the
The
result
winning
of the
number.
raffle, with the number up, ball
Yes,
ticket.
I remember that.
And he had a, as I say, he got shot up. He had a stiff leg, couldn't bend. Stiff leg, you see him hobbling around now. The ground,
Yeah.
carrying the ball.
How old were you when you started going down on your own?
Well, he used to take me down when I was like 5-year-old, but then I could just continued and
Did you have any ruses for getting in free? Did you have any ruses for getting in free, or did your dad always get you in free because he was
well,
starving?
sometimes I did, because I say he used to do jobs down there, and we used to get in the early days, but after that, because you had to pay same as anyone else.
You didn't have any ways of getting in for nothing?
No, not that I can remember.
Because I've heard stories that sometimes the boys would be outside the ground and they'd be doing nothing at half time.
Oh yes, you could do that, yes. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Did he shout out to your dad when he was being come out and touched you?
Time or else or so to get on the bus before it arrived at the
Oh, well, I was
valley,
always
or
within walking
bus or a
distance.
train, train.
Yeah. You know, I suppose it took me about 5 or 6 minutes
Yeah,
to work
that's
down that
right.
sort from where I live. I suppose they got copies of this up in the shop.
Well, I don't know, but if you want to go and read it, go out, do you know where Woodlands is?
Yeah, I know it would.
Goodness.
It was when during his trial period, when he came down from Bolton Colliery.
It's Bartram.
Sam Bartram, yeah, and his name was misprinted in the programme. It was Bertram in the programme. And I can see him now, Sam. I mean, nobody knew who he was then. And he came out to fist away a high shot. And he missed the thing completely. When the fist, he went right over his head, right into the net, and everyone said, where did I get this, this idiot from, and he was down as Bertram.
I think I remember his first game for Charlton, whether it was in the reserves or his first team, he let 6 goals.
That's in the reserves against Luke.
6-0.
Yeah.
I remember that, I can see that, I remember that game.
He
And
wasn't
they
very
said,
good.
we said, who's this chap, you know, big gingered chap, and they said,
That's
oh,
right.
he's not much good.
Well, it says in there, in his autobiography, that Seed gave him a second chance.
Actually, he
Because
wasn't a goalkeeper when he came, he was
centre
played out in the field.
That's right, centre half.
But Seed gave him a month to prove
that's
himself.
right,
And he
And,
played
uh,
blinder at Chelsea, didn't he?
Yeah, in the reserves, and then he had another second trial month, and then after that he was getting an occasional first team game. 35 hours, he was never out.
No.
21, 22 years or something.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Stuff I can't remember this Bronco Burton. That didn't they when they went to hotels.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the players, they were up travelling away and I'm not sure if it was a cup match or not, and one of the players put them all down for an early call in certain rooms and they woke them all up about 5 o'clock in the morning. That's how footballers.
There was another time, the Swedish tour, and because they were very impressive, the Swedes were very efficient and very sort of healthy, and the football system over there, as Barton really praises it, was absolutely fantastic. You know, one morning the manager sort of got up and found half the beds out in the garden. he didn't say anything. The manager didn't say anything about it at all. Barton said he must have thought it was the English going for the healthy outdoor life, that they're sleeping out there.
I'll have to ask her whether she.
I suppose she's still.
I'll ask her if his wife's still around.
How long ago did Sam die?
How long ago was it?
Hard to say.
He collapsed on the steps of the People newspaper or
That's
something.
right. He had a job as a sports.
Yeah.
So he started fairly young. So he was only born in 1914.
1914, was
He was
it?
born, yeah.
Well, he'd been 74.
He died in his 50s when he was about 50 when he died.
Late 50s, I think it was.
How long was it at York for? How long was it at York? He was manager at York, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was at York. Only about 2 or 3
Not long.
seasons. Not
And
long.
then he tried Luton.
Didn't like being manager, did
No,
he?
he was manager of Luton for a while as well.
I think he was.
Yeah.
No, he didn't take the
Work out.
Because that's written just as he took up the post at York.
Oh, was it?
And he's
Yes.
full of optimism for it. He was really
No,
looking
he
forward to it.
didn't make out.
No, he
that
didn't
was
like-
manager for Sam.
No.
I don't.
Cup semi-final, scoring about 3 goals up at West Brom when Charlton won 4-0. And I went,
right, yes.
shouldn't have done, but I went on the pitch and hugged him after that. Yeah, West Brom.
Did his Barton save a penalty in that match from Allen, or was that another? Famani scored as well in that match. Yeah, well, I saw
Bobby
that.
scored at last,
Yes.
at least twice, didn't he? Scored 2
That's
goals.
right.
I think,
Yeah.
Bobby
Yeah.
Ayres.
I remember the West Brom